Okay, hey guys, Anime West Reacts here, or Plays here. We're gonna be playing more If My Heart Had Wings. So yeah, we're just gonna get into this. So it says my first job is dorm mother. That is to make breakfast for the boarders. Hmm. Good eating.
葵くん料理上手だね。おかわり。
Sure, a big bowl, right?
わかってるね。
I'm pretty confident in my cooking. Until recently, I was living with my father, who was ordered to transfer to the country, and every day I helped with the housework. I was in charge of preparing the meals, and it's not like I hated cooking or anything. That's one of the reasons why I accepted the job as dorm mother. So the others don't need breakfast, huh? Since just now no one has come into the dining hall. Sometimes there would be someone walking through the hallway in front, but they seem to be sneaking around. I'm gonna look toward the hallway just as the oldest boarder, Yuka, was peeking in before swiftly dashing off.
もうみんなオフだからね。男の子に免疫がないのよ。
Apparently. But Keifu is a co-ed school, right?
いくら学校で同じでも寝起きの緩み切ったすっぴんが見られちゃうわけじゃないからね。
I see. Seems that a guy being the dorm mother of a girls' dormitory will have its problems after all. There's a reason why I accepted the job as a dorm mother at Flying Fish Manor. Not long ago, the owner/janitor collapsed. Sounds like she's pretty old, and as well as straining her back, she caught a summer cold which became aggravated. The owner soon began looking for a replacement, but it's hard to find one. Then she sought help from the real estate company where my mother works. This is one of the properties that my mom manages, and is an old acquaintance of the owner from decades ago. She nominated me for this job just as I was planning to come back here. On the documents, my mom is the one responsible for this place, but she got me to carry out the practical duties. In other words, the work of a dorm mother. Then that became the condition for me coming back to this town. As always, she's very crafty, but I wasn't really against the idea, so I accepted. If I'd known it was a girls' dormitory, of course, I would have refused. This place is old, a little far from the school, but the rent is cheap. Apart from the food and admin expenses, it costs next to nothing. That's why it'd be a big problem for me if I couldn't stay here, and if, in the worst case scenario, the boarders won't be able to go to school. So for now, it seems that everyone has accepted a guy as the dorm mother.
ごちそうさー。美味しかった。
Kanako stacked up the dishes on the counter and licked her lips in satisfaction.
ま、みんなそのうち慣れるって。じゃ、行ってきまーす。
She had eaten it all, not even a single grain of rice was left. To have people enjoy my cooking feels pretty good. I feel deeply relieved. I'm happy that things are going well. Ah, geez, I better get ready for school. is Kotori. And the entrance to the dormitory, there was Kotori. She was dressed in her uniform and looked like she was about to go to school. Morning, Kotori.
おはよう。
Are you going to school? Shall we go together?
なんでそうなるの？
Why? Well...
私の足のことを心配してるなら余計なお世話よ。ふんと。
She put it bluntly as she quickly went out the front. Door. I don't have any friends at school, so I was just asking. It looked like we'd had a strange misunderstanding. Wearing my new uniform, I make my way to school. I'm a dorm mother, but also a student of Keifu Academy. I mean, this is my real occupation. Today is the first day at my new school. I'm not really the shy type, but I guess I am kinda nervous. I would say that the school I was going to before was a sports-focused all-boys school. Keifu Academy, the school I'll be going to now, is an engineering school with a co-ed, and a co-ed. And the school traditions are quite different too. As I walk the streets that lead to school, there are more and more groups of people wearing the same uniform. This is the same area in which I lived 5 years. 5 years ago, there should be a few people that I know, but most of the people who I recognized went on to regular schools. I wonder if the ones who chose to go to Keifu Academy remember me. Even if I only know one person, it would make a big difference. There will be more weird misunderstandings with Miss Alul too. Oh yeah, which school did Agatha and the others go to? Oh, transitioning. They're my childhood friends who I always played with when I was a kid. There's Agatha, my Mabo, Hotaru, and Anchan. Mabo and Anchan. Out of the group, Agatha and Mabo are the same age as me, but we haven't met in 5 years and haven't really stayed in touch. We just about managed to exchange New Year's cards, but that reminds me, in the corner of last year's New Year's card, I think there was a small message about which school we were planning to go to. What did it say? A lot of things happened, or maybe I'm just lazy, but I haven't told anyone apart from Anchan that I'm coming back. To be honest, I'm not even sure how I should be if I meet them. With the ones like Ageha, she'd probably smash my face in. She'd say, "Why didn't you contact me?" or something. She looked and acted like a real tomboy. When I remember the past, it makes me smile.
Oh.
Oh. At the point where Toast Street leading to school meets, there was a girl wearing a Keifu uniform standing there looking towards me. The other girls that she was walking to school with asked what's up, and she seemed puzzled as they spoke to her. However, it seemed that the girl can't hear them, and she's staring over here at me. Just finally, her eyes seemed full of surprise. She's pretty cute. Without realizing, I had stopped walking and was staring at the girl. Until a few days ago, I was going to an all-boys school. The sight of a girl on the way to school in her uniform, she was pretty cute too, causing me to get palpitations is pretty reasonable.
もしかして葵？
Right. Yes, it is. Suddenly having someone call my name in such a carefree manner made me feel a little nervous. Who is it?
やっぱり葵だ！嘘、本当に？
There, she said my name again, and she had such a happy expression on her face. Do I know any girls this cute? No, wait, I've seen this face before. When she smiles like this and her eyes sparkle like a little kid's. Is that you, Ageha?
もしかしなくてもアゲハよ。忘れちゃったの？私の顔。
She asked as she briskly moved closer, bringing her face right up to mine. Definitely Ageha. She's changed a lot, but if I just look at her face, there's no doubt that it's her. Is it really that Ageha?
すごいな。他にどのアゲハがいるってのよ。正真正銘、本物の姫木アゲハです。
Okay. What is it? She said the other girls as they gathered around in a circle. Ageha turned to face them and introduced me.
この子、水瀬葵くん。転校生よ。サッチンは覚えてるよね。
Sachin replied, "No way, Aoi," as she warmly raised her voice in surprise. When we were in 4th grade of elementary school, we were in the same class once.
私と葵は幼馴染なの。昔ここに住んでたんだけど、転校してっちゃったのよね。
The girls seemed impressed by Ageha's explanation, and they looked at me with eyes full of expectation. Nice to meet you. I'm Aoi Minase. In front of all the girls in their uniforms, I greeted them with a stern look on my face as I tried to hide my embarrassment. Ageha laughed as though she looked on with the relish. Blech. I never thought I would find myself doing introductions in the street on the way to school like this. I was totally unprepared. I'll say it again. Let me do it again. I hear Miss Alul's words in the back of my mind.
背伸びたわね。最初誰かわかんなかったわ。
As she spoke, Ageha was moving her hands around my head to show the difference in height between myself and her. Bodies were making contact, but she either didn't notice or didn't really mind. I flinched slightly, but the fact that she was so unreserved actually made me feel more comfortable.
昔は私といい勝負だったのに、男の子はずるいな。
Speaking of which, you've changed too.
そう？
As she said, "You think so?" She looked at herself. Yeah, you always looked like a boy, so I was surprised to see you become a girl. Those were my honest thoughts, but I said them in a way that sounded weird. Thought she might find it slightly charming, but...
どうだ、いい女になっただろ。
Alright. Ageha laughed happily and did a little turn on the spot. The force of her spin made her skirt float around her gently. Yeah, it's like you're not really Ageha. Well, dazed and not really thinking, those thoughts just kinda slipped out.
Yay! やったね。
Ageha was pleased and did high fives with her friends. Seeing her in high spirits like that was just like old times. My best friend during my childhood, hadn't changed in the 5 years that had passed. Not laughed. Her appearance was surprising though. Alright. The lessons on my first day at my new school flew by in the blink of an eye. Between the language and social studies lessons taught in regular schools were those from a specialist curriculum. I was still in the second grade, so there aren't that many, but looks like when you go into the third and fourth grades, the number of these specialist lessons increases. By the way, this is a 5-year school. That's why when walking the hallways, this kind of thing happens. Hey, she's pretty. Coming from an all-boys school with its sad customs, I couldn't help my eyes from following the girls as I walked past them. No, that's not it. I just thought that they looked really grown up. That's all. At our age, a gap of 3 or 4 years is pretty big. The students in the... But yeah, students in the upper grades look very mature. Huh, what's that? Without thinking, I really took an interest in that, and Ageha looked at me as if she wanted to call me a pervert. Okay. I'd heard about that before I transferred. They increased the number of courses for girls and asked famous designers to make the designs for the new building. Has been said that thanks to that, the ratio of boys and girls is about 50-50, which is one of the selling points of the school. Bearing this in mind, I felt uneasy about choosing the school as the one I was transferred to, but I'd like people to think that it can't be helped because I'm from an all-boys school. By the way, it's now lunchtime. Ageha is in the middle of giving me a guided tour of the school building. Yeah, but this really is an amazing school. The school itself is pretty old. Due to it being a special kind of school, of course it's famous in the local area. I've known about it too since I was a little kid. School building has been rebuilt over the last few years, with the renovations divided into several stages the last of which was completed just 1 year ago. Said that it's because of the famous designers. Design uses many curved lines such as the appearance is far removed from what's generally associated with the word school. It felt like I had entered some kind of sci-fi setting. That is something then. Disabled access. That's right, Miss Kotori should be somewhere in the school. Ageha, as she walked by my side, was happily murmuring as she looked at my face. I think it's more rugged. Yeah, same to you.
ひどっ私ゴツゴツなんてしてないもん
She knew that when she met on the way to school, or yeah, she knew that when we met on the way to school earlier, I thought she was pretty cute. She'd never let it go, so I'd better keep quiet.
あんちゃんから聞いてなかったら気づかなかったわよ
You heard it from Anchan.
そう葵が帰ってくるってね
By the way, I'm in the same class as Aga. She knew that I might be coming as a transfer student, which is why she wasn't that surprised by our chance meeting this morning.
あんたね帰ってくるなら連絡くらいよこしなさいよね
So sorry. The reason why we call him Anchan isn't because he's like an older brother type of guy, Aniki / an older brother, like a big brother. He was our childhood friend, but he was much older than us, so we nicknamed him Anchan. Not related by blood, but he's just like a real big brother. Agiha glared at me and said, "Geez," as I tried to laugh it off.
昔の私ならアックスボンバーかましてるところよ
Axe Bomber Lariat, oof. She wouldn't really have hit me. As we talked, we went back to the classroom. Well, definitely is interesting. Classrooms weren't exactly normal either. Yeah, definitely looks pretty futuristic. Feel a little uneasy taking lessons here, but maybe I'll get used to it sometime soon. By the way, there's a girl in a wheelchair in this school, right? Miss Alul, no, I mean, she's called Kochuri Habane. I asked Ageha as we returned to our seats. Didn't ask what grade she was in, but even if it's not the same, I thought Ageha would at least be aware of her. Ageha reacted like she was being evasive. It wasn't just Ageha, but the other people sitting nearby who heard our conversation also seemed kind of awkward.
ハバネさんならうちのクラスだよ今日は来てないみたいだけど
After Ageha said that, someone added, "You mean today either, don't you?" The way she said that seemed quite harsh. That can't be, I mean... I thought about explaining that she had left the dormitory this morning in her uniform, but I held my tongue. The atmosphere was kind of strange.
ここんとこずっと休んでるんだ体調が良くないみたいでさ
Not feeling well. Yesterday she had went out to Windmill Hill, and then later she was chasing that duck around the halls of the dormitory. And this morning she left wearing her uniform. She's skipping school? However, more worrying than what Kotori is up to is the reaction of the others in the class when they heard us talking about her. Even Ageha looked like she had something she wanted to say but couldn't. But I don't really know what the situation is, so I can't really say anything.
おい、山本、英語の辞書を貸してくんね。
As the awkwardness started to fade, an optimistic voice called out. From the entrance of the classroom, a carefree-looking guy poked his head and started speaking to a boy in our class.
おちょうどいいところおーいマーボー
Mavo.
だよ、アゲハ。なんか用か
A guy known as Mavo came into the classroom.
お前と仲良くしてっと、エリちゃんのご機嫌が悪くなんだよ。あれってやっぱ、ジェラシーってやつだよ
Yeah,
な。
jealousy. Maybe.
いいからこっち来い
Yeah. This drags him over.
お、誰これ転校生アゲハは見た目結構可愛い
Like a
け
dude
ど
on the
中身
inside.
男だから気をつける
Wow. Ageha and I both looked blankly at him for a moment.
なんだよ
Long time no see, Mabo.
は
Why is this transfer student being so buddy-buddy with me, as his face seemed to say? It's me. Have you forgotten me?
俺だよってえお前葵
Yep. I looked at Ageha and she...
にや
She wanted to surprise him, so it seems like she intentionally didn't tell him. This slightly superficial guy is Masasugu Tasaki, or Mabo as we call him. He's our childhood friend.
なんで葵がここにいるんだよてか転校生ってえ
あんた驚き
Yeah. Really?
そりゃ驚くって
You seem well, Mabo. You've grown pretty big. Masasugu used to be really small, but now he was about the same size as me. It's not quite that, quite like the change in Ageha, but 5 years that have passed since we were kids, it looks like he's grown about twice the size.
お前こそ
We grabbed each other by the right hand. This was instead of a small, quiet greeting.
本当に葵なのかよ
Yeah, I'm back, Mabo.
おかえり葵
This time, bam, he gave me a full-on hug. Hey, hey.
うんうん熱い友情ってやつだ
Passionate
ね
friendship. We were the only ones who thought so, whereas all the girls around us were totally freaked out.
会いたかったよあじゃねえよこの裏切り者
Oh, Mabo suddenly backed off and thrust his finger at the end of my nose. What is this all of a
いきなり
sudden?
出て行ったと思ったらろくに連絡もよこさねえで俺やアゲハがどんな思いでいたかてめえ知ってるのか
いやいや勝手に私を巻き添えにするな
Okay.
そのくせよくものこのこと
So, something happened, huh? Sorry, but it's not my fault that I had to move away. If you want to complain about, if you want to complain, say it to my dad. I thought about writing a letter, but I felt kinda embarrassed. For the most part, the fact that there was no contact was both of our faults.
この裏切り者め俺は絶対許さないかんなお前なんか嫌いだバカバカ
Alright. With saliva flying out of his mouth as he emphasized his words, Mabo forgot all about borrowing the English dictionary and he stormed out of the classroom.
子供かい
That's something. It wasn't just us, but everyone in the classroom was shocked.
こうなると思って教えてなかったんだけどね知ってたらあいつ最初から全開であんな感じだっただろうから
I think that was the correct decision. I want to say thank you. Even so, he did seem really upset about it.
あいつ最近彼女ができて調子ついてんのよ 小さい頃は「葵アゲハ待ってよ」とか言って私らの後にくっついてきてたのにね大丈夫すぐ元通りになるってだってあいつ葵大好きっ子だもん
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it, though that end part. I was really upset. Don't say it like that, it sounds weird.
そう可愛いじゃない
While we carried on talking, the bell to mark the end of lunchtime sounded. Everyone put away their lunchboxes and got ready for the next lesson. Agaha went back to her seat. Stopped halfway, then walked back. What's up? Seemed concerned about those around us and lowered her voice.
なんでハバネさんのこと知ってるのかなって
Well, the truth is, my mom asked me to be the dorm mother of a student dormitory. I lowered my voice so that those around us couldn't hear.
寮の管理人？
Kotori is boarding there.
そうなんだ。
Mom asked me to take good care of Kotori. Even if she hadn't, I'd be worried about her anyway. As she listened to my explanation, Aga thought it over. Her expression darkened somehow.
このまま来なくなるんじゃないかってみんな心配してる。あんまり学校が楽しくないみたいなんだ。
Looked as if she was saying, I can't believe she doesn't enjoy school. You seem to enjoy it.
私？もちろんだよ。だって楽しいじゃない、学校。
I guess. It was still my first day at a new school, but I was enjoying it quite a lot too.
そっか。そうなんだ。
Whether or not she was convinced by my story, Aga mumbled something or other as she returned to her seat. Alrighty. After school, I was alone and was wandering around the school building. This was so I could take a look at some of the club activities. Film studies, theater club. There's even an RC club. This is, after all, a specialist school. Looking at the playing field from the window in the heat outside, I saw the sports clubs practicing. Compared to my school, it's pretty calm. Sports clubs at the school I used to go to were taken so seriously. The sight of training before a match was one of grueling harshness. Wait, what do I mean my school? I'm a student at this school now. I'll go take a look. I went down next to the playing field to watch the sports clubs practicing. Before long, I started to feel a little down, so I left. The doctor said that if it's light exercise, it shouldn't be a problem. I try stamping down strongly with my right foot, and there isn't really any discomfort. The basketball club, which was returning through from the off-campus running courses, entered through the school gates.
あ、水瀬。お前、水瀬だろ?
The one calling me was an old acquaintance. It's you, Taguchi, and it's been a long time.
お前帰ってきたんだってな。もう部活は決めたのか?
No, not yet. I'm going around taking a look now.
野球部入れよ。お前ならすぐレギュラーなれるぞ。
When I was a kid, I often played basketball in the park. Some of the guys in the group that were my teammates or the other team were in the baseball team. I'll think about it. Casually responded, and the baseball team member responded, "Come on, join us, seriously," as they returned to the playing field. If I could do physical activities, baseball, in fact anything, would be okay. As I grumbled to myself, I felt that I didn't want to go back to the playing field, so I entered the path leading back to the school. Spend a while walking around the back of the school. It was called the rear garden, but it looked like it hadn't been taken care of at all and was just a empty space with weeds growing everywhere. In the empty space, there was a garage. Alrighty. Hello, I'm coming in. Looks like no one's here, but I thought I should say something to let them know just in case. This place used for club activities too? Or is it used for lessons? I don't know what they're used for, but there are many tools and parts crammed into the shelves that cover the walls. Then, in the center of the huge object covered with a sheet. Feeling that had washed over me like a wave when I watched the sports club strangely subsided from being here. The tools and dimly lit garage must have reminded me of the times when I would tinker with my bicycle. What is this used for? Concealed the sound of my footsteps as I sneaked inside the garage. Pretty spacious. There's a tea set here too. There was no doubt about it, someone was using this place. Get a strange sense of activity. I guess it must be one of the clubs. Whoa. There's someone here. I was so surprised I felt like my heart was going to jump out. The person over there seemed not to have noticed me at all. Not sure if you could call it a drawing board, but as she stared at the plans that were placed there, she was kind of groaning. Sorry for letting myself in here. I'll be going now. It's no good, she didn't hear me. Her eyes were so serious as she stared at the plans and looked like she was really concentrating. I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at her from the side. Now look close, she's really beautiful. Hey, why am I staring at her? I hurriedly look away. However, it looks as if she still hasn't noticed me, so I take another glimpse. Looks quite mature. Is she in the 5th grade? She's so pretty. Kodori is pretty too, but this person is different and has a mysterious charm. Foosh. Suddenly stood up. I'm sorry. Without thinking, I avert my eyes and apologize, but she's looking straight. Straight past me and grabs a big, thick book from the shelf. Flipped through the pages and looked like she had found something before going straight back to her seat. Alrighty. In good spirit, she began swiftly drawing the plans. The pen made a nice swoosh swoosh sound as it ran across the page. Feeling a maturity that she had until just now suddenly changed. When she smiles, all of a sudden, she looks more like a kid. As her eyes looked straight at the plans, they looked as though they had a crystal clear purity to them. Just like an innocent child, her eyes looked as though she believed the world is full of wonderful, sparkling things. Her hands stopped moving. I got the timing right. Excuse me. She finally noticed me. Even though I had unexpectedly appeared like that, she didn't show any signs of caution and still in a good spirit smiled as she greeted me. Hi. I thought I should say something to her, but I didn't think what to say after that. I'm sorry that I just let myself in here. I just transferred here today, but I was taking a look at the club activities and got lost and came in here. Got a little carried away and said more than I needed to, but she didn't seem interested at all. Looked at me as if to say, yes and? Seemed like a kind, blunt way to say it, but she wasn't angry or anything. Has a strange way of speaking. Well, I'm sorry, I'd better go. As I said that, like a total loser, a huge sound echoed around the garage. What's that noise? Okay, well, so focused she was, yeah. Didn't notice her hunger, huh? With a lack of energy in her voice, the beautiful girl before me held her stomach and fell down onto the drawing board. Was that the sound of your stomach just now? We're inside the garage, so its sound echoed like a crazy and sounded like a growl of a monster.
空腹だったことを体が思い出してしまったらしいぞ。
Oh. Seemed to sway as she tried to get up, but she didn't have enough energy, so she slumped back down with her cheeks on the drawing board. Would you like to eat this? I took some bread out of my bag. Thought I'd get hungry with just a lunchbox, so at lunchtime I brought some melon bread. Her eyes shone as if she were an explorer who had discovered treasure in a cave in some unexplored place.
いいのか？
Go ahead.
ありがとう。
Took the melon bread, opened the wrapper immediately, and bit into the contents. She was getting crumbs everywhere, but really looked like she was enjoying it as she devoured it greedily.
おいしい、おいしい。久しぶりのカロリー摂取だ。
Okay. Could that be because she's poor? The fact that she was so ecstatic over something like melon bread actually made me quite worried. She didn't show any signs that she was thinking of my generosity and just ate up the high-calorie melon bread.
おいしかった。
She murmured happily, looking happy as can be. She looked like she was mulling over the taste of the melon bread in her brain.
脳に糖分が染み渡る。
She said as she turned back to the drawing board. Then she started drawing the plans again with an incredible energy. From the serious look on her face, it seemed that she had already forgotten about me. She's strange. Not just a little, but very strange. Okay, well, I'll be off now. Oh, perhaps she didn't hear me. I put the melon bread wrapper that she had left behind in my pocket and turned to leave. I reluctantly left the special atmosphere of the garage behind me. Well, all right. That was something. Well then, maybe I should head back. By the time I had finished watching the various clubs, the sky was orange and the sun was setting.
あ、いた。
Ageha was at the school gates. Ageha looked toward me and points the cell phone she is holding at me.
まだ残ってたら一緒に帰ろうと思って何回もかけたのにちっとも出ないんだもん。
Told Ageha that I would take a look at the club activities before leaving.
着信履歴見てみ。
I left it in the dormitory.
はあ？なんで？それじゃ携帯の意味ないじゃん。
Doesn't it say in the school rules that you can't bring cell phones to school?
そうだけど、そんなの守ってる子いないよ。
Usually not. It's alright if you don't get caught. It's alright if you don't get caught, it seems. In my case, I'm not so worried about the school rules, it's just too bothersome to carry a cell phone around with me.
せっかく番号教えてもらったのに、これじゃ意味なしだよ。
How do you know my number? 5 years ago when I left Kazagaura, I was still just a kid, so I didn't have a cell phone.
さっきあんちゃんから聞いた。メアドも送ってもらったから、これからバンバンメールするね。
What? don't bother. Don't bother, it's too much hassle. Writing text on a cell phone is too fiddly, which is a real pain, so I don't really like it. But it looks like Agaha isn't listening to me and has started walking on ahead.
じゃあ帰ろっか。
Alright.
どうだった転校初日は。
It seems like an interesting school. It was different to the sports schools or regular schools and had a special kind of atmosphere. Everyone looks like they enjoy it, and it's, how should I say, like they come here to hang out.
それは言えてるかも。みんなやりたいことがあって来てるからね。
Things they want to do.
入りたい部活は見つかった？
I don't know, there were a few things that seemed interesting though.
うち運動部はあんまり盛んじゃないから、葵には物足りないかもね。
What do you do, Agaha?
私はロボット部。ロボット作ってコンクールに出るの。
Robots? That sounds interesting too.
葵だったらいつでも大歓迎だよ。
Yeah, I'll think about it.
それじゃあ私こっちだから。
Huh, isn't your place around here?
ああ、引っ越したんだ。風見商店街が再開発でなくなったのを知らないの？
No way, seriously?
でっかいショッピングモールができたの。うちの店もそこに入ってるんだよ。また休みの日にでも案内してあげるよ。じゃ、また明日ね。
Hey.
何？
Thanks for everything today.
いいっていいって。今度パフェでもおごってくれたらそれで十分。
No, I mean... that you're the same way towards me as you were in the past.
ああ、うん。
That was a big help.
私も葵が見た目以外変わってなくてよかった。あ、見た目もそんなに悪くないよ。極秘情報をリークするとね、今日だけでいろんな子から葵の携帯番号を聞かれたし。
Seriously?
訂正。スケベになったね、葵。
So what? I didn't have that kind of thing in an all-boys school.
まあ健全な男子である証拠か。しばらく会わないうちに大人になっちゃったんだね。
Agaha looked happy as she said that. So have you. To be honest, I thought she would have grown up to be more rough and tomboyish.
だね。
Agaha started smiling quietly. Looking at that innocent smile reminded me of how Agaha was when she was still just a kid.
おかえりなさい、葵。
Yeah.
また明日からよろしくな、相棒。
Bam. Ouch. Gave me a great big slap on the back.
じゃあね。
Gave me a big wave and turned the corner. Ouch, you doofus. She might have gotten a little cuter, but she hadn't really changed on the inside. Welcome back, huh? Her attitude hasn't really changed since before, and somehow I felt that it had saved me. Right. So yeah. Gonna end this part here. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure you like it, share the video, sub to this channel, and yeah, I will see you all next time. So, for the next part, so later.